Tears.
It's nice lighting. The skin tone is nice, hard to do. Catch light in the eye on the left-hand side of the frame is great. The shadows right across the mouth and the eye to the right in the frame are they could have been placed a little bit differently. A little bit different composition with those bars on the mouth and the eye, letting that beautiful light see the eyes. May have helped a little bit.
Zero pressure.
There's some artistry going on here. The textures are beautiful. It's kind of like, I don't know, they kind of call it the grunge look. I guess a little post-processing magic probably going on there. Broken gauge. Yeah, it's a very cool shot and nice composition. There's a slight emptiness in the lower right-hand side of the frame. That's doesn't fill it out quite as much as it could maybe have been, but yeah, very cool shot, very artistic.
News.
Ten. The worst of it is the harsh light. The good part is it's a nice sweep of the river there. It does have depth and dimension to it. It's just that it's that harsh light reflecting off the leaves in the foreground, and the sky is just completely blown out. Once again, a recomposition, eliminate all that clutter in the foreground, get right up on top of a canoe, fill the foreground. The canoe that is in the foreground there has a great angle to it. You could have walked up a few steps maybe, and you got rid of a lot of this lower right-hand side and even a lot of the right-hand side of the frame. It would have helped, but the light's the killer. It's just, it's tough light.
Twilight.
Uh, 15. The moment is great. The light's on in the lighthouse. There's a great angle and sweep. It's a beautiful sunset. The exposure's nice. There's a nice soft light on the rocks. Yeah, it's nice. There's enough texture throughout the sky. The upper left-hand corner is a little blank, but I couldn't have framed it any differently, and it would be tough to catch a nicer moment and have a better composition.
Denver at sunset. Once again, it looks a little bit grainy, noisy, whatever the terminology, up in the sky, enough so that I see that immediately. I don't know how much of that is the digital projection or whatever. It's got great angles to it, and it's got some nice lighting to it. Interesting. Looking out.
13. The binoculars, I guess I would call them, whatever they are, viewers. There's great lighting and texture on it. Clouds in the sky are nice. That horizontal bar is, I kind of want to see what's behind it. Is there a horizon line, or I think that kind of it is a little bit distracting. Nice shot, nice tone range, nice position in the frame.
Higher position.
That's got a wonderful sweep and beautiful lines and nice textures. And after your eye runs all the way around, from the white to the black and the warm, I guess almost cream colored, almost to a, how do you even describe that? The warm color, and then the blue out the window, the natural framing. There's craftsman-like quality to that photograph. It's very, very nice.
Utah desert view from above.
It's nice scene, harsh light, midday. It's again a little recomposition. The root, I guess it is, trailing out into the bottom of the frame, and then the branches to the left-hand side. They both want to lead your eye out of the frame. The main part of that tree is positioned nicely, and there is some depth and dimension to the photograph, but it's another one of those, it's the middle of the day kind of white, uninspiring light. It's one of those tough things to beat. That moment was tough light.
Sunrise at Clingman's Dome.
Technically excellent. Either a really good use of a split neutral density filter, or somebody has a really good hand with HDR. That foreground is black as coal that time of the morning, and to get the clouds and the receding ridge lines and then the green foreground in there and do it that well, it's not an easy thing. Nice, yeah. The clouds settled into the valley's beautiful.
Yellow Rose.
It seems a touch bright, and there are a couple of brighter areas in the background that are a little distracting. But to get the exposure, it's just right on the money with yellow and white like that. Very difficult, but it's a great subject, and it's well handled and well placed in the frame.
7 yards, 1 Cheb, 1 Brig, 1 Spanker.
Yikes. There's some good lighting. The skies makes a good background for the photograph. It's awfully busy, and a little too much so. I don't know how you would refine it or hone in a little more to get rid of some of the lines. It's just that's a little much with all the lines.
Harem call.
15. It seems like perhaps it could have been tighter, but it's a great environmental shot. If you look at hunting magazine covers and a lot of shots like this, all you see is the antlers and steam coming out of their nostrils and their bloodshot eyes from the rut. But this is nice. It shows the environment at a very great moment. The lighting's fabulous. The lighting on the tips of the tines of the antlers are really nice highlights and bright spots. His eyes crisp and sharp. Yeah, it's a great shot, nice moment, good environmental shot with for a wildlife shot.
All pastels.
The theme's great. They are pastel-like colors in the image. It's once again, it's just a busy shot. There's nothing particular that you would think is a strong subject to start or lead your eye through the frame, or for your eye to fall on in the back of the frame. Perhaps even a Photoshop technique making it more diffused, more Monet-like. This image and frame may lend itself to that kind of manipulation, but to have it this sharp and have so much going on, it's a little distracting. Nice colors, nice pastels. The theme is correct there. There's a little bit of that, more of an effect.
Oh,
15. The composition is excellent. The colors are beautiful. The effect is pleasing. It's once again, somebody's got a good grasp of post-processing technique. It's clearly meant to be that way. It's not like somebody was heavy-handed with the saturation for the sunrise or sunset. The glitter path is beautiful from the sun, and the sun is blocked enough. It's in the vignetting, there's a lot going on there that's very pleasing. It's very different.
at the fish market.
Technically excellent, sharp as a tack, good lighting, there's a lot of glare and sheen that come off of fish. That was handled very well. There's some artistry that went into arrangement and placement. The pop of the color with the cherry tomatoes and whatever the berries or tomatoes are in the upper corner there adds some pop. There's just a lot of the lines of the fish that aren't the main one, kind of leaving your eye out of the frame a little bit. But it's a cool setup, kind of a shot.
Wheels.
It's a great example of selective focus. The foreground sharp and clear, background soft and diffused. Very pleasing that way. The wheels within the wheels, well thought out. Interesting, nice shot.
Arctic buffet.
It's another great environment shot. You always see frame filling shots of polar bears, the buggies, Churchill. This is out on the ice floes. It's a great capture of the sun and the angle and the lighting and the shadowing from the directionality of the sun. Have several polar bears there, a bloody spot there. Yeah, it's like National Geographic kind of a shot. Very, very cool.
Autumn walk.
That's a very original point of view to see the lighthouse from. It's a single figure off to the side of the frame. I think adds a lot to the mood and the moment. Exposure's nice. The sky's got a lot of interest in it. Diagonal line of the trail there leads your eye right back in through the frame. Very cool.
Coyote stared at him.
Boy, he's looking right into the camera. That's great. Very engaging. There's enough too much of the dirt in the foreground. It kind of takes your eye down there a little too much, and there's no real interest. And also a little bit to the on the right-hand side of the frame, a little bit of tighter framing would have been helpful. And once again, even in a subject like this, in a moment like this, it's white light. It's not compelling light at that moment, but it's a great shot.
Pointing up.
Hmm. 11. Somehow the background reminds me of the Blair Witch Project film. It has a spooky quality to it that is kind of interesting. It's a great concept, other than it is like dead center, busy. Yeah, little recomposition to give it a little more interest, perhaps.
This one makes you small.
Boy, 15. It's the ground is a little bit busy, but it's just got so much impact with the colors. It's the frame is filled out nicely. It pops. It's a very pleasing photograph.
Another time.
Boy, I'm going to give that a 15 too. It's just fabulous lighting and texture, and it's I'm at a loss for words, which doesn't happen very often. It's just it's the lighting is beautiful on it. Those tones of the interior there are very unusual, and very well exposed, and it's a good composition, and yeah, it's very interesting.
Key Largo Sunset.
It's a beautiful sunset, sailboats massed going up through the different planes of the frame, help it to hang together. That's a nice touch. The gulls frozen in the sky lend to the mood in the moment. From the sun down, it's just kind of dark, and even though you can see that it's a sailboat there, there's just not a lot happening in the foreground.
Lighthouse in the Clouds.
It's again, it's shot up with a wide angle. There's the distortion there that we have to assume is intentional, not all that bad. It's once again just that at least there's clouds in the sky, but it's bright light. And the bright light is in the sky and on the clouds. It wants to take your eye too much to the top of the frame. Doesn't keep your eye enough down on the lighthouse. Darker sky, lighter lighthouse, different time of day may have been helpful. Interesting concept, a different point of view, different treatment of the subject. Nice.
Beauty of the Orchid.
I want to give it a 15, but somehow that dark area there in the bottom center of the frame, it's just kind of cut up and a little bit distracting. The textures, the lighting, the composition, everything about it is beautiful. There's such hard lines on that one dark area there. My eye wants to go there more than I wish, I guess. It's a distraction rather than a complement to the flower itself. But it's awful nice photograph.
On Eagle's Wings.
That's a great composition. His head and tail feathers are overexposed, a little bit blown out, and the background is awfully busy. That moment, that behavior, his gaze right at the camera are all compelling, but got a little bit harsh highlights and a very busy background.
Grand Teton.
11. It's a nice snapshot. The one element that starts to make it into a little bit of a photograph rather than a snapshot is the fence used as a leading line. That's a very good element. Once again, it's harsh light, middle of the day, and there's so much foreground other than the fence that has no real interest. It's a tough portion of the frame to be compelled to look at.
And the slots at Antelope Canyon.
There are spots of the super high quality light that are evident in Antelope Canyon down through the center of the frame. A lot of the rest of it is a little bit dark and indistinct. But the keyhole effect, leading your eye back into those lighted sections, is very nice.
Pensive moment.
Uh, 14. Great light, great skin tone, nice pose. I guess I nicked it a little, looking off with her eyes, a little, not as much engagement with the lens as could possibly be, but awful nice shot. Nice, they've got a great softness and excellent skin tones, nice light.
Tiger.
Uh, 10. The tiger's face in particular seems out of focus, and there's quite a harsh highlight on his forehead there. He is walking into the frame with some space in front of him. That's a good point. The background is incredibly busy, and that white reflective rock behind his tail is quite distracting. Good placement in the frame, but there's not a lot of support from the other elements or from the lighting.
Double fall, Leckworth. Worth.
$13. The colors are beautiful. There's nice lighting. There are a lot of hot spots in the sky in the background. The stream is rather centered. It doesn't necessarily give it as much power or sweep as may be possible with a little bit of recomposition. And another just compositional possibility, moving a little closer to that front waterfall, give it more power, and get rid of the kind of blank puddle in the lower left-hand portion of the frame. But just overall, when you look at it, the colors, the exposure, the scene, very nice.
Old St. Louis Courthouse.
$13. Beautiful lighting, nice exposure. It's got some great leading lines from the bottom on upward to the top. With a few small bright windows there, and just enough light they don't really blow the photo out. Good detail, but not horribly busy. A nice balance to the composition. The frame's nicely filled. Nice shot.
All eagle in flight.
$14. It's crisp and sharp. You can see his eye beautifully. The motion is stopped. Crisp. The feathering on the end of his left wing there is incredibly sharp and nice. There's just a hot spot on his forehead and on his neck there that are a little bit blown out. Nicely positioned in the frame also.
Alpha and Omega.
It's almost like looking into a kaleidoscope. It's got some really nice subtle lighting. Your eye rolls around. It's a soft and pleasing photograph. Very nice.
Cook's Forest Cabin.
Nice soft lighting. The fence is a great leading line. A couple kind of hot spots on the fence. Kind of pull your eye over a little bit. There's a lot of grass that's just kind of plain in the foreground. It's the middle ground, the trees are rather pleasing subjects. There's not a lot of intensity in the yard there to hold your attention in the foreground of the shot. But nice shot, nice positioning of the cabin and the fence. And it's a very good composition, other than the plainness of the grass, especially in the lower right.
Locomotive Strong.
Uh, 12, it's nicely exposed. It's a good composition. It's got great lighting, nice leading lines. Interesting shot. Nicely handled.
A Walk in New York.
Great leading lines. The textures are great. The exposure is nice right up until it's a little bit bright in the sky, and especially where right up above the folks in the frame, up to their upper right there, that area where all the tree branches are kind of thick and busy and heavy, right in front of that real bright spot. The viewer's eye wants to go a little too much up there rather than stay on the folks on the walk, where most of the photograph interest is. It's not up in that bright spot, but yeah, other than that, it's time and date kind of thing again, and got a great sky to deal with. But well done, nice shot. Nice monotone treatment.
Reject.
Yeah, hold on. 12, it's a cute shot. They look cuddly. You can convey that kind of a feeling or a mood or a thought through a photograph. You've done well. The background's a little bright, and doesn't add a lot to the photograph necessarily. The eyes are big and bright and crisp and clear. Nice. Overall, a little bright.
Right. A lot of great shots.
There were.
$115. Oh, here's the name. Say it again. Nishan. Nishan. Okay, beautiful.
Good.
15, Chris Lyons. Ralph Sanders. $115. Gerald Meredith. Wow. How many 15s?
More than any other judge ever gave in their whole life.
All right, Sunset Administrator, this is Becky Sandler. Got a letter of sign. Bob Rado. And Sam Ward. John Lutz. Otis Genus. All right. Very nice stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.